give people a word of advice. You know, if they're involved and they're maybe not as successful as they think they should be, or that they hoped they would be, or they feel like there's another level in them, what would you share with them?
Kind of a little bit of what I shared earlier. Give yourself grace and go for it with no excuses. Because if you eliminate the excuses, the sky's the limit. You know, if you eliminate the excuses and you make all the reasons why you're not doing something, the reason why you should, because typically that's the case. All the reasons why you're not doing it are the exact reasons why you should do it. And you just got to do it.
Welcome to the Excellence Project. My name is Erik, and I'm here today with Karla Pierce, a network marketing leader, friend, champion, fighter, team builder. She's really an amazing soul. I think you're going to love the conversation that I have with her. So with no further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Karla Pierce. Karla Pierce.
Erik Warren.
How are you?
I am amazing. It is so good to see you.
It's good to see you. You were at your company convention here in Las Vegas. Found out you were here. Asked you to come over to our home studio to have this conversation. I'm really excited to kind of have a deep dive conversation with you about your journey, your life, network marketing, lessons learned along the way. We've been friends for how long?
Erik. It's like maybe 6 years, I think. It's been a long time.
6 years, something like that?
Something like that. Yeah.
And
Let me see.
where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Up in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Really?
I am a New England girl.
A New England girl.
Yes.
And so growing up in New England, what did your parents do?
My dad, engineer, my mom, a teacher.
Okay. So they're kind of like, professionals.
Yes.
Mom kind of an academic type.
Yes.
Dad is what kind of engineer? Do you know? What did he work on? Building stuff?
Yeah.
Fixing stuff?
Yeah.
You have brothers and sisters?
One sister.
One sister.
Yes.
Okay. What did they think of? Because it doesn't sound like they were entrepreneurial.
Well, they were.
They were. Okay.
Actually, that's how they put us through college. So they own property. They owned a lot of different property.
So they took their cash flow, they put it into real estate, and they started building some real estate. So they're smart about property.
Right. And they didn't just, they actually own the real estate. So they buy houses, pay the house off, rent the house out, and that was income.
Yeah.
And that was like really what they put us through, put my sister and I through college.
Nice. And are they still around?
My dad died in 2012. My mother is still around and kicking.
Oh, good.
And I take her with me.
Good.
She's my plus one most places.
Oh, I love
when
that.
I travel on trips. Now, like for a minute, she didn't want to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And before COVID, she lived in Massachusetts still. We had been trying to get her to move to Georgia where my sister and I live. She didn't want to move. But when COVID hit, we got her.
Got her, finally.
So now,
nice.
And then she didn't really like traveling so much because of COVID.
Sure.
And she got COVID. So she just was not interested. But now she's like, where are we going? And I want to sit in first class. Like, why am I not sitting up here with you?
Oh, she's got a little taste of it, huh?
She's got a little taste of it.
Does she still have any of the real estate that they had back in the day?
No, like the house that she lived in, my kind of sold it. I mean, I don't know if I should be saying all this, but my nephew takes care of that house now. She sold it to my nephew.
Okay.
My sister and I didn't want to. We didn't want it.
So everybody sold all the real estate, cashed all that out.
Yep.
In your growing up, what did you think you were going to do with your life?
I honestly, at one point, wanted to be an attorney.
Okay.
And then after an attorney, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to work for myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I didn't want somebody telling me what to do. I wanted to make the rules.
Yeah.
I wanted to make the rules. I wanted to drive my income. All of those good things.
Okay.
Yeah. I wrote a paper in college about what I wanted to do. And I wish that I could find it because it talked about being an entrepreneur, and I didn't know that it was going to come in the form of network marketing.
Sure.
And I tried, of course, a whole bunch of things and tried some things and failed.
Yeah. Well, let's get to that part of that journey. Your sister, older, younger?
Older.
Okay. So with an older sister, what was her kind of mindset? Did she want to be an entrepreneur?
She went into academics. She worked in higher ed.
Okay.
And she retired from higher ed. I don't know. God, let me see. Probably 6 years ago.
Okay.
She worked in higher ed and she worked part-time for the airline. She worked for the airline for the benefits. So she retired from
she
both.
Could fly around and stuff.
Right. She retired from both. So she still has her flight benefits. And she still, has her
hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she's in network marketing now.
Oh, good.
She saw a couple of my checks.
Hey, wait a minute.
Like, wait a minute.
What's going on? My little sister's doing this. I can do this.
Well, she actually was the third person to join my team. I needed a third person for my first rank. So she's like, okay, I'll join. And we have this monthly subscription, and she got on it. And she's like, I'll just, do that, just support my sister. And then we were shopping one day and she saw what I was buying. And she's like, wait a minute. Those are on sale, but they're not that cheap. How much money are you really making? I pulled up my commission and I showed her. And she's like, let me see it again next month.
Yeah. Show me if it's for real.
So she saw it again next month. And she was one that would never get on social media or anything. She got on Facebook. She got on Instagram.
She's like, the whole thing, documentation beats conversation, right?
Yeah, she started
when I see my sister's things for real. Yeah, you ever see The Wolf of Wall Street? The movie?
No, I have to check
Oh,
that
there's
out.
this one guy said, he walks up to Leonardo DiCaprio in a restaurant and says, I see you're driving this fancy car. What do you do? I'm a stockbroker. Like, how much money you make? He said, well, really, how much money you make? He's, well, 70,000 last month. And he's like, get out of here. No way. You show me a check stub for 70,000. I quit my job today and I work for you. He said, oh, okay. He pulled out the check, showed it to him. The next scene is him on the phone. Hey, I quit. I want to get a little bit to origin story. You growing up. Okay. Were you a decent student?
I was a decent student. Okay. I wasn't a great student. I was decent.
Okay. What was your thought process going through school? Were you like, I can't wait to get out of here? Was it fun for the social aspect of things?
Social.
Were you involved in any activities, clubs, sports?
High school. I was a cheerleader in high school.
Okay.
I ran track in high school.
Yeah.
I ran track also for conditioning. I threw the shot put.
Wow.
Yeah, I threw the shot put or the javelin. The javelin, the long.
Yeah.
Yeah, the javelin. That's
okay.
what it was.
All right.
But I really did it for conditioning.
Okay.
I wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
but anytime you're involved in something, like you said, for conditioning or whatever, you're doing your cheerleading stuff. Mm-hmm. You had a nice social group of friends, all of that.
I did.
All right.
I did.
You a New England Patriots fan?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is that your thing?
New England Patriots. The
Boston
Celtics,
Red Sox?
Yes. No Red Sox. I'm actually the Yankees. I kind of cheated on the Red Sox.
That's a little bit of a cheat.
Yeah. It's
for
a
New
cheat.
England.
It is.
Wow.
That's the only thing I don't support in New England is baseball. I don't know what happened. It had to be my family. Like I would sit around with my aunts and uncles and they, like half were Red Sox. But the majority, I can't even say half. I had a couple of Red Sox, but the majority were Yankees. So
I
went with the Yankees.
It's one or the other up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Yankees won more than Red Sox did. That's for sure. So you got to gloat probably more than they did.
That was the conversation.
Of course. Breaking the curse finally up there. So I'm guessing that your parents were very interested in you being educated.
They did. And my mother being an educator
just
made sure that we had exposure to just different things.
Did you go to college?
I did.
Where'd you go?
I went to Morgan State University.
Okay. All right. What'd you study?
Business administration.
And did you finish?
I did.
Graduate?
Yep, I did.
All right. Did you continue at all beyond your undergraduate?
No, I didn't continue with the degree, but I did get licensed. I had my license 663 life, auto, homeowners, and annuities license, and mortgage broker's license. So to me, that was my master's because I had to do a lot of studying for those tests.
Yeah,
and to pass those tests.
So you finished college, and did you go right into that other education of these degrees?
No,
or
I
did
came
you
out
have
and
some other
I
things
worked for
first?
Ford Motor Credit in like their manager training program. And I did that. And simultaneously, I started a business on the side. I used to sell jewelry. Funny,
Really?
I used to sell jewelry. I would go to New York. I'd buy jewelry wholesale. And I initially started selling jewelry for brides, people who were getting married, and just supplying them the jewelry for their bridesmaids and the bride. And then I started selling sterling silver. And I mean, I made a lot of money doing
Really?
that. Did very, very well. Yeah.
So this was a side hustle?
It was a side hustle, and eventually became what I did full time, because I was putting together financial portfolios. I was a consultant for. Can I say the company? Because I'm not with
Sure.
them. Okay,
Whatever.
I used to be with Primerica. So that's kind of how I got my licenses. So I was doing both, and that's what I did. I made very good
great
money.
training ground.
Great training ground.
Yeah.
And like those licenses were just completely invaluable, because it's something that I could take anywhere if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I kind of put that on hold when I became a mortgage broker. I was making a lot of money.
So this is when?
Plummeted. This was in like 2007.
So right before the crash.
2006 maybe, because I had a couple of good years.
So if I'm getting the timeline right, you finish school, you get a job for Ford Motor Credit. Start doing some jewelry stuff on the side.
And the financial services.
And the financial services.
On the side.
Financial services and jewelry on the side. And Ford Motor Credit was the kind of like the full-time thing?
It was a full-time thing until those other things became the full-time
And
thing.
about what year did those things become a bigger thing?
Maybe 06. Maybe.
06. All right. So those are cranking up. You got your...
Actually, it was before that.
Okay.
Because 06, that's when I had my first house built, that I actually had built.
Right.
So it must have been maybe 03-ish,
All right.
maybe.
All right. So 03, early 2000s. You have these kind of side hustles that turn into full-time. Where were you putting more energy into the Primerica or into the jewelry? Or what was making you more money?
They were probably kind of the same. I made more money with jewelry. Really? I made more money with jewelry.
And about how much each back then? Can you guess?
Killing it, like with my jewelry. I was making probably about $8,000 a month. I made a good 6 figures easy.
Where did this idea come from? That you're going to go to New York, you're going to go find his jewelry, you're going to bring it back, and then you're going to figure out a way to sell it. Where did the idea come from?
Well, when I was looking for jewelry for I got married in 1995, and I was looking for jewelry for my wedding, and I couldn't find anything that I really liked. So I went to New York and I found the jewelry for me. Well, that same year and the next year, I had several friends that got married. So I ended up getting their jewelry. And then I ended up getting other, so that's
it was really your focus was around, you saw a need of finding fun, reasonably priced jewelry for people getting married.
Yes.
And starting with you.
It started with me.
And you went, if somebody else has this problem, I know where to go get it. I'll go get it. I'll bring it back. I'll sell it to them.
Exactly.
Okay. So was your whole marketing plan weddings?
It started out weddings. And then I was like, like there were certain like hair salons that would have jewelry displays set up in the hair salons. So I started setting up jewelry in the hair salons, and I started selling.
And you give them a little percentage or something?
Gave them a percentage. Yeah.
All right. So here's what entrepreneurs do. It's interesting. Entrepreneurs see a need. They have awareness, because I'm sure other people looked around, didn't find jewelry and just gave up, or went and bought it on their own and didn't see somebody else with the same problem. But you saw the problem, or you saw an opportunity. You're in the hair salon. You go, they don't have anything like what I have in here. People are commenting on my stuff. I'm gonna go put ask them if they put stuff. It's free money for them.
Exactly.
They already have the space. So
and they had a receptionist that could.
And a receptionist could manage it. So, like, how many salons did you end up in?
I didn't have a bunch of salons.
Just
maybe
some.
About 5. Good handful. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah. So how much was direct sales, you doing it, and how much was through connecting with other people?
More me doing it, because then the other thing that I did, again, finding that need and filling it, I would go into companies and I would set up and sell to the employees.
Like in the break room or something?
Break room. Sometimes it was right out front. Like what there were certain companies like MBNA. I'd go to the phone company, like, good companies.
Who'd you talk to figure that, to get access?
Somebody probably, I believe that someone recommended me to come to like maybe Social Security Administration, because they had vendors that were coming in all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in there, and then someone else is like, hey, well, we have setups at the phone company. And I'm like, well, who do I need to talk to? So I'm finding out who I need to talk to.
You're networking your way through town.
Networking my way through town.
Did you have to pay a little bit to somebody at the different places where you're setting up?
What I had to pay was so minimal compared to what I made.
Or give them a little free jewelry or something?
Yeah. Like, because some of them, they just provided that service to the employees. When I would go to MBNA, I did my best there when I would link up with the department that was doing a fundraiser. So I would donate a portion of the proceeds to the fundraiser.
Yeah.
Well, I come in and, like I said, I'm killing it. Like I'm there one day. They make great money. They're coming to see, what does she have? Let me get it first. And when I was selling sterling silver, I sold these little I can't even think what you call it. It's like a choker, but it's hard. And they would change the different pendants on it. And, because them changing the pendants kept me being able to sell them different things, because I'd always come back with different pendants that they could put on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, awesome stuff. The stones were real.
Yep.
Quality stuff. Like people, I ran into somebody recently and they're like, I still have some of my jewelry I bought from you back in the day. I'm like, wow,
Really?
Right. So like it was pretty cool. And I had a great markup on the jewelry.
Yeah, I'll bet. What kind of margin do you have on it?
Probably about 400%.
Really?
So
yeah. you buy something for $25, sell it for, or $20, sell it for $100, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Or 80.
Yeah.
60 at least.
Yeah.
It was at least 3 times.
Right. And your suppliers in New York have to be happy,
because I had to buy some more. And that's how I looked at it. Like one percentage would go back into me replenishing, and then I had to cover my expenses, and then I had to pay myself.
Right.
So
then you had your profits on the other side.
Yeah.
So you found a need, you had the awareness, you're networking your way through town, and then you decide to get your mortgage license.
Yes.
And get into real estate, because everybody's making money in real estate. Back in the no credit, we won't look at anything. You can claim to make whatever you want to make, and we'll the free money mortgage bubble.
All those things.
Yeah. So was there too much money in that to even focus on jewelry anymore? Did it distract you from your jewelry business?
When I started doing mortgages, I was doing mortgages only. I really put everything down.
You just stopped everything else.
Stopped everything else.
You stopped the insurance biz, and you stopped the jewelry biz. You could always pick it back up if you wanted to. You went hard on mortgages.
I went hard on mortgages because what I did was I found some people who wanted to make money. That is the duplication, and I'm not even thinking about that until talking to you now. And I had like 7 loan officers that worked for me. So they were sealing deals. They were, they got leads, but they had to close the lead. They closed the lead. They get a percentage. I get a percentage, and I still did deals myself too. So what I did, I'm making the max on. So it was. Those were some good days.
Yeah, a couple amazing years, right? 2006, 2007.
And it was really cool because I was able to, write off all my expenses, and then, pay myself.
How much you make during that bubble?
Probably, I made about $250,000 a year.
Nice.
Which was very good.
Of course.
Then.
Big money.
Yeah. That was
big money. Big money now. Average median income in the United States, $55,000 for a household. Right? Can you imagine? I don't know how it's even possible.
I don't either. How do you live off of that?
I don't even know. But I guess you find a way, I guess. But it's hard to imagine. But 250, right?
Right. And that was just me. I was married.
Yeah.
My ex-husband made good money too.
Yeah.
He didn't make $250,000, but
So you were married at the time?
I was married at the time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward, 2008 hits. What happens?
Lord, my world starts to unravel. The money starts drying up, because the mortgage market plummeted. And at the same time, I'm, starting to go through a divorce all at the same time.
That all happened at the same time?
All happened at the same time.
Was it happening did the struggle accelerate it, or did success accelerate? Or did it have nothing to do with it?
It was probably could have been a combination of everything. Could have been a combination of everything.
Yeah. When did you know in your previous, when did you know that, like, you know what, I don't think this is going to work out? If you're honest, you got married in 95, you said?
95.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're 2008-ish, you're whatever, 13 years in. When in that 13-year journey did you know in your heart, it was like, you know what, I don't think this is going to work?
I don't know. Probably when I left.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were just like
enough was enough.
Enough is enough. All right. A lot of people don't leave when enough is enough. They just stay. And I'm not encouraging somebody to make a decision that they don't want to make, but I also admire people that are willing to say enough is enough. I only get one life. This isn't the life that I want, and I'm gonna go down another path, and wish you the best.
Yeah.
Was it ugly? Was it friendly? Was it?
Man, I don't know how many divorces are not ugly.
Yeah.
It was absolutely disgustingly ugly.
Mm.
We're cool now. Like, we're friends now.
Yeah.
We co-parented very well, with my son. But, I had to put my feelings to the side and focus on what was going to be best for my son.
Mm.
And I
How old was your son at the time?
He was, when we separated, 8.
Mm.
When we divorced, 10.
Got it.
It took a minute.
Got it. So marriage is falling apart, trying to deal with, your son, formative age, incomes being wiped out, it's looking pretty bleak, in the United States, the economic crisis, all that stuff. What did you do to make money?
So when I moved to Georgia, because I needed to go near family. My parents were still in Massachusetts, my sister in Georgia. I opted for Georgia. Felt like, cost of living was
your son with
cheaper.
you at the time, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So moved here and just started all over, started rebuilding. I actually worked in education when I first moved here.
To Georgia.
To Georgia.
Yeah.
And more so because it was more important for me to be there for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed hours that were going to coincide with me being able to support him.
What'd you do in education?
I helped not underserved youth access college. When I first moved, I taught a reading class to 8th graders who weren't reading on level. And what else did I do? I worked at the Parent Center for one of the school districts too.
So how much were you making as a teacher?
Oh my God. It was like non-existent, like I was paying the bills. I'll just say
how
that.
emotionally did you go from 250, like a year or two before, to what? 40, 50?
I think, maybe about 70. Yeah.
70,
about 70.
30, 35 an hour, something like that. That's a big drop.
It's a huge drop.
1/3 was kind of humbling.
Extremely humbling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that hard emotionally to kind of manage, or were you just saying, you know what, I'm going to do whatever I need to do and put one foot in front of the other?
I really put one foot in front of the other because I knew how to manage it.
How did you know how to manage it? What gave you that skill to be able to manage that?
Working in the
challenge?
Financial services industry.
Really? Why?
Because, we learned how to pay ourselves first. We learned how to spend our money on paper first.
Okay.
And then actually spend the money.
You learned some disciplines from your Primerica experience.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And at the time, what were your parents' thoughts about everything that was going on?
It was hard. it was definitely hard for my mom, like, because my parents were married for 49 years before my dad passed.
Yeah.
So, like, she really struggled with
Mm.
the whole divorce. She did. It took her a minute to understand that, you know,
It was the
and
right
have,
thing.
right, exactly. And I have to say, even through that, with that 70,000, my parents helped me a lot.
Mm.
You know, because I wanted to make sure that I kept my son involved in all the right things, and he had all the right exposure so that he could be the best that he could be.
That's
And
nice.
I couldn't do that on $70,000.
No.
You know, so
No. Well, that's
like with a
great.
lot of his extracurricular, you know, stuff, they
So
help.
how long did you teach?
I worked in education from 2009 until when did I what was it? 2015. 2015.
6 years?
Yeah, 2015, because the company that I was working for, I worked for a nonprofit. So I didn't work actually in a school district. We partnered with school districts. They closed their doors in June of 2015.
Okay.
I was introduced to my current network marketing company in August.
So
I was on a severance
basically
package.
you one door closed, another door open.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question. So they closed their doors. Was that a hard day for you when that ended?
It was extremely hard.
Because here's my question. Were you still making about 70 at the time, or 70-ish?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If they doubled your income instead of closing their doors, would you be where you are today? Or would you still be there?
I think I'd still be there. I know I'd still be there.
So even if it was a difficult situation, it was like God was looking out for you, needed to get you out of that situation so you can be in a better situation.
Exactly.
So it was happening for you.
Exactly.
You know, but at the time, it doesn't feel like it.
It didn't feel like it at all.
No, it's like, oh, the whole world's falling in.
And like, I loved what I was doing.
Yeah,
I was helping students.
People and helping students and coworkers. You're in a groove. You've been doing it for 6 years now. You feel like, okay, I'm on a path. You know, I got my benefits.
Right. Oh my God. Benefits is what was keeping me working, like really, because in my mind, I just couldn't wrap my head around the fact that you can pay for your own benefits.
Yeah.
You don't need a company to pay for your benefits for you. I actually went back to work after joining my network marketing company for benefits.
That's
like
funny.
My salary was in a toilet.
Yeah.
You know, I worked in higher ed. People think you make a whole bunch of money in higher ed. Not always.
No.
There might be some people that do, but I did not.
Right.
Made less there than I did when I was working, you know, K through 12. And I went back for benefits.
Yeah. And then you finally realize, wait a minute, I'm making a bunch of money. I can do my own benefits. I don't need to do that nonsense.
I think I might have been there 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your son's grown up. He's probably 16 or so at the time. And this door closes. You got a couple months, and then you get introduced.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me about that introduction.
No one asked me to join.
To this network marketing, yes?
Mm-mm. Then asked me to join. The person that I joined under sent me a link to buy something from her. And when I saw the price point, I'm like, she's selling this. I know, like, you know, it can't be like, you know, it has to be
and just for
decent.
clarity for the listeners, Karla still, her network marketing company is involved in jewelry, which she has a little bit of background in. She did well with before. I got to ask you before we get into the network marketing journey, did it ever cross your mind after everything blew up to go back and sell jewelry? You just had to get out of town. Like you needed a fresh start.
Yeah, well, let me say with the jewelry, what happened when 9/11 happened, a lot of things changed. Like, you know, for a minute, the tariff laws changed. Like getting things in and out of the country wasn't as easy. A lot of my jewelry was made in Mexico.
Got it.
You know, so it was difficult just getting things made. You know, like I actually went through a third party. You know, we would design some things together, have it made, have it come over. All of that like was almost non-existent, you know, so I had to pivot. I had to do something different.
I understand. All right. So you move over there and then you get introduced and this friend of yours sends a link to buy some jewelry from her.
Right.
And you look at it and you see the prices. You go, what?
I'm not buying anything from you.
Yeah.
No, I actually asked her. I said, do you think we can make money doing this? And she's like, I think so. Like, I'm not buying anything. Sign me up.
Yeah. So forget me being a customer, show me how I can go sell, because you had some experience.
Right.
So you go kind of going back to your roots again.
Right.
All right. So you get introduced to this company, and was it mostly to sell? Did you have any thoughts of building a team? Because you built a little bit of a team in the mortgage side of things.
I did.
So you got a taste of that. And you got introduced to the idea of building a team with Primerica. So you had a taste of that. So when you're introduced to this, your first only thought was, I'm going to sell some of this stuff.
Well, looking at the price point.
Yeah.
I just thought about the dollar stores and how the dollar stores became a multi-billion-dollar industry. When they first came, we're looking like the dollar store. Who's going to the dollar store? Until we started going to the dollar store first, right? Mm-hmm. So I looked at that, and I looked at the fact that
everybody can afford this.
Everybody can afford this. So I'm like, there's something here.
So you get involved. What's your strategy? Talk to me about how you got going. What did you do?
I just, I was on a severance package, and I'm like, I'm going to show this jewelry to as many people that I can possibly show it to. I'm going to sell this jewelry.
So you had a network of friends and stuff being down there for a while.
Yeah.
So you went to everybody and say, let me just show it to you.
Yes.
So it's just face-to-face stuff?
Mostly face-to-face. I looked for opportunities to vend,
you could set up a little pop-up shop
right,
somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So that's
little
really
trade shows, festivals, any place you could set up like you were doing in the businesses up in New England. You were now doing in Georgia. Did you go to any salons or any of that stuff?
Other than the salons that I would go to myself, not really.
Okay.
No.
But it's more person to person and pop up here and there.
Right.
So
I know a lot of people in education, right?
Yeah.
So I will go to their schools. Hey, what are you guys having? Are you having anything? So Valentine's Day, I go set up. Holidays, I'm setting up, and I'm giving them an opportunity to have their students purchase for parents if they want to. My price point is $5.
Yeah.
So I would do that. Teachers, buying gifts for teachers. So I utilize my network, to get in front
to get things moving. Would you like to dominate in network marketing? Would you like to go through the ranks, get to the top in your network marketing company? Well, I've got something to tell you. You can get inspired all you want. You can be motivated all you want. But when you're done jumping up and down, the answer to dominance is education. You have to learn what the professionals do. What do these people do that's so different? How do they recruit on demand? How do they build teams and duplicate like crazy? How do they become such effective leaders? This is not something that you are born with. It's something that you learn. And GoPro Experience this year, December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. This is the Super Bowl of network marketing. This is the World Cup of network marketing. This 3-day event, guess what you'll learn? How to dominate, how to crush it, how to have a breakthrough, how to stop crawling in network marketing, how to have the information and the education and the roadmap necessary to get the results that you've always wanted. If you're hungry, if you're willing, if you're coachable, you need to be at GoPro, December 1, 2, and 3. Click on the link if you're serious about your career. Let us help you become a recruiting machine, duplicate like crazy, and be an amazing leader. 3 days to change your life. You cannot afford to miss it. Click on the link and I'll see you there. So how much money you make first month selling stuff?
Selling? I don't remember.
Any idea? You got to have an idea.
I don't know. Maybe $1,000 or something like that. Yeah.
So fast forward now, 3, 4, 5, 6 months in, when did you flip the switch and say, you know what, I can build a team of people doing this?
I started building a team right away. My first month that I joined, and I didn't make a whole lot selling my first month. I didn't really start selling until my second month of business. My first month I ranked up to director. I only had to get 3 people. So I ranked up my first month. And in commission, I made $125. And then the next month I added more people. My commission went to $250. The next month I had some
And
more
the commission
people.
is on top of your personal sales?
Right. The commission is just based on
Yeah. Personal sales is separate.
personal sales. Is
Got
separate.
it. So what do you doubled from 125 to 250.
And then I went from 250 to 550.
Okay.
And from 550 to 1100. That was my first.
So almost like double every single month.
Every single month. It doubled. And then, it kept going up. It didn't double immediately after that, but it sustained. And, there was a lot that I could do with that extra $1,600, $1,700, $1,800 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept going. And like by the end.
So is this full, your severance package lasted for how long?
How long was our severance package? Our severance package might have been a year, maybe.
Oh, so you had some time.
Yeah, I had time.
All right.
Yes,
So
I did
let's say
have time on myself.
you had a year, so you had a little runway. You're cranking it out. What's your son thinking through all this? Mama's out doing the
They
hustle.
thought I was like wasted. Like, I'll just say
Who's they?
Jewelry wasted. My friends, my child, because everything was my business. Jewelry.
So they're judging you a little bit.
Right. They were like, you need
Mama's lost her mind.
Something's wrong. Right.
Okay.
But I'm like, I think he kind of understood my hustle too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, everything was about like my business.
Did you ever, because of their doubt, did you ever doubt yourself?
Never.
Never. You're like, nah, I see it. You guys don't.
Right.
I'm gonna build this thing.
I'm gonna build this thing.
So by the time your severance runs out after a year, what did you have your income up to about?
After my first year, I was at about $6,200
A month.
a month. Uh-huh.
So you now replaced your income. Took a year to replace your income that you were making before.
Yeah, more than that.
Well, that's just the commission side. Your personal sales would be a little bit more, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't making $6,200 a month.
Well, 6,200 times 12 is 72-ish, 73-ish.
Right. But it's 72, 73-ish. I'm not bringing home 72, 73-ish.
Yeah. So you're saying as an independent business owner, the expenses you were able to write off against this, with the U.S. tax law was more substantial than being a W-2 employee.
Right. But even with the W-2 employee, I have FICA, you got, all the taxes, that are coming out, so yeah, because like you're saying, like I get to write off my expenses and then pay my taxes on what's left.
Most people don't really pay attention. What's crazy? If a person just joins a network marketing company for whatever the price is to join, it's a small price, and they give an effort to try and build it, regardless of their results, the benefits in tax savings from being a small business owner is so enormous that it outweighs. I'm not a tax advisor. Don't listen to me. Talk to a professional. But in my opinion, it outweighs any of the costs to get involved because it's so substantial of what is an actual legitimate business expense when you are a business owner versus a W-2 employee. The W-2 employee here in the United States pays the highest percentage of tax of anyone, anyone in the world. It's the highest by far. So, all right. So after a year, you're a little bit better off than you were. Even more. Feeling good,
man. It was 62, right? And then I went from 62 to 2 months later, I was at 16.
So 62 to 16, it took off. You have to find a hockey stick up.
So, because like in my experience, most people's Decembers are bananas.
Yeah.
My Decembers kind of tanked.
Really? Why?
And then I have to build back up because people spend all their money. Like they spend all their money on Christmas. They're not spending.
But they wouldn't buy your products for Christmas?
So the sales side of it.
Sales side went up, but the team activity went down.
Right. So that affects, right. So the commission.
Got it.
Commission, went down.
Okay.
So January went down. January,
You're recovering.
Right. We're recovering. Then February, bam, back and almost to the next level, right? I said that wrong. So I must have been about I don't know what it was in February, but it was good.
Yeah.
March, it was 16,000 because I ranked up again.
Got it.
2 months after that, it was over 19,000 because I ranked up again.
Mm-hmm.
So I ranked up like 5 times in a year.
Yeah.
5 times in a calendar year, 5 times in a company year.
Yeah.
And then by that October, I was at $50,000 a month.
$50,000 a month. Now we're talking mama's back.
Mama's back, baby. Mama's back.
No, there wasn't any critics then.
No critics then. They were like,
everybody's
oh
like,
my God.
attaboy, mama. I always believed in you.
Right.
Right. So things are going great with the company, building a big team. Those people are happy. People are out there making sales, growing a team.
And from the discipline, I built my inventory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that next year, I paid off all my debt and I made sure my credit score went up.
Yes.
Because that was important too.
Yeah. So you were back to your jewelry days of discipline before. Take a piece of it, make sure you got your inventory, take a piece of it, make sure you're covering your expenses, paying debts, take a piece of it, pay yourself. Right?
Correct.
You went through that whole process. So
Correct.
you start growing your credit, you're on the rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't understand. I mean, did you go into this having significant debt, or how much debt did you have?
I didn't have a whole lot of debt, but I definitely had debt.
Yeah, it's the credit cards and stuff.
Credit cards, car.
Yeah. Student loans, any of that?
No student loans.
Okay.
No, my student loan, like I know I'm pretty rare. Like I didn't have a whole lot of student loan debt as my parents paid for everything.
Nice.
I got student loan debt because I saw everybody else getting student loans and getting these
Free
refunds, right? And I'm like, hey, I want some too.
Yeah.
So I didn't, just didn't qualify.
Yeah.
But and I hated it, but it ended up helping me, in
Right.
the long haul.
So you end up paying off debt, cleaning up your credit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times divorce can really mess up a credit report, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cleaning up your credit and growing your team.
Yes.
And things continue to progress. Give me a few things that you think were the reasons for your success in growing an organization. Let me qualify it for a second. Usually, and I want you to be honest with me, as honest as you can be, because usually when I ask leaders this question, they're like, oh, it's just all about this, it's all about that, and which is all team, it's all this, it's all that. But they really know they have a superpower or 2 or 3 superpowers that separate them from somebody else who had the same opportunity and the same team, the same system, same support, same product, whatever. But they're a particular badass in one way or another. What was your superpower that took you from 0 to 50,000 a month in a reasonably short period of time dealing with $5 products?
I have an amazing work ethic. And I think that was definitely my superpower. And I think I have a great ability to help others recognize their gifts and begin to start believing in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, really big on affirmations. I'm big on, what you say when you're talking to yourself.
Yeah.
That is a book, but
it's big.
Right. So,
Is that
Chad Helmstetter.
Chad Helmstetter.
Yeah.
What to say when you talk to yourself? We'll put that link in the comments. It's a very, very good book, an important book.
It's an important book because, just in life, period, right? We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. We're not going to get it right. But we have a tendency to give grace to other people more so than we give grace to ourselves.
100%.
And I hear people, even this weekend, and I'm like, they lead in with everything they're not doing. I'm like, nobody cares what you didn't do. Focus on what you're doing now and where you're going, period.
Yeah.
You keep yourself in a certain place when you do that, and that self-talk is just, it's essential.
So you feel like one of your superpowers is being particularly good at coaching and mentoring people to get past their limiting beliefs, see the potential that's in them, act on that potential.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And second, you said your work ethic was extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? Tell me what work ethic looks like to you when you're in the grind.
When I'm in the grind, I'm up while everybody's sleeping.
So
I'm working
walk
while
me through a
everybody's
day.
playing. So I typically get up about 3, 4, anywhere between 3 and 5. And not 5 o'clock. It's really late for me. I'm usually up before then. I get up. I read my devotional. I write in my journal, and then I start my day. And I decide what I'm going to listen to while I'm getting dressed. And what I'm listening to could be a motivational YouTube. It could be music, but it's never it's almost never TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really do a whole lot.
Don't
of
feed
TV,
your mind that way.
you know. And then I'm jumping into my day. I'm looking at what's on my to-do list.
Is it mostly calls,
It
texts,
just depends.
Zooms?
A little bit of it all.
Uh-huh.
And I start my day early, so I'm getting things done while everybody else is still sleeping, the things that I can get done.
So that's like a belief system. I'm going to do something when other people are playing, I'm going to work. When other people are sleeping, I'm going to work. That's how I'm going to get an edge on everybody.
Right. And then I'm looking at my day. I'm looking at the things that I need to get done. So on Stephen Covey's, it was the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And this is something that I learned while I was still working. That's when I was introduced to that book, like writing down the things that you have to do. Right. Get your to-do list written down. And then whatever you don't finish that day becomes the top of the list the next day.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the things that I need to get done. And I dive in.
Are you still a list person?
I write a list for every single thing.
Do you do it on legal pads? Do you do it in a journal? How do you do it?
I write a list. I use my phone.
You put it on your phone now?
Put it on my phone.
Yeah. For whatever reason, a legal pad is more satisfying to me than a phone because I have to turn my phone on. I have to go to where I've got my notes and then I have to go look there. But if I have it in front of me visually, physically in front of me, it disrupts my distractions and causes me to look at it, but whatever works. I mean, if it works for you. So your day starts at between 3 and 5. When does it end? When does the work day end? When you're in the grind?
So my days are my sleeping patterns are horrible. So I'm up at 3. Between 3 and 4, really. 5 o'clock. I used to do a 5 a.m. call every day. Mm-hmm. When Clubhouse first opened, I get on there, talk to people, business tips, motivation. Then I got sick, so I had to put that.
We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah.
But I do that. We order our new releases, my company, 3 o'clock every day, order my new releases. So after new releases, I typically take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get back up anywhere between 7 and 10.
Okay.
I might lay back down again and then I'm back up again. That's why I say my sleeping patterns are like crazy.
So you're all over the place. So, but in a tip,
they're consistent.
Yeah, no, I get
it. You know what I'm saying?
But when you're in the grind, is it like a 10-hour day or what is it?
Probably a 10-hour day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you're any other superpowers that come to mind that kind of make you unique?
I think the biggest thing is just getting people to see it, getting people to believe that they have the ability to accomplish whatever it is that they want to accomplish, and really.
And how do you do that? How do you get them to see
helping them to shift the way that they talk? Because what we say manifests. I was sharing with some people this week that it's so unfortunate that some of the music that the kids listen to really drive their decisions. And it's not positive music.
Sure.
But I listen to a lot of positive music, like the music that I listened to, like when I was sick, and I know we'll get to that. There was a song, a CeCe Winans song called Never Lost, right? Listen to that song.
I knew CeCe, NBB.
You know B and CeCe? Yeah. Oh my God, you got to introduce me, Erik.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah.
But the song talks about how God never lost the battle, and
Denise Williams, in the same little group. Remember Denise Williams?
Yes, I do.
But anyway, sorry.
Yes, I do.
So
what was Denise? Was Denise Williams Silly and Me? Is that R&B? Denise
Yeah,
R&B.
R&B. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I think, did she sing Silly of Me?
I think so.
Don't have me start singing, because if I start singing, like everything, like podcast is going to end, the people are going to sign off.
No. I mean, people come from miles around.
But yeah, I do. I remember I grew up listening to her as well. But that song just talked about God never losing a battle. Listen to it every day when I was, going through my battle.
Yeah.
As a reminder.
Well, let's talk about the battle for a second.
Okay.
Because I think it's another one of your superpowers. Things are cruising along, income's growing, and something shows up that kind of changes everything. When was this?
That was in early 2021.
Early 2021. Was it from a checkup? Was it out of the blue? What happened?
Listen, I was going to get mine. I was going to get me a mommy makeover. Like, hey, let's get this tummy tuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were going to go do some cosmetic stuff.
I was going to get some cosmetic work done. Paid my deposit.
Tighten some things up. Mm-hmm. And in the process of tests, I'm guessing?
So I had to get clearance in order to get it done. Uh-huh. And part of that clearance includes a chest x-ray. So I'm thinking I'm just going to the doctor, just going through whatever I had to get done, because I'm otherwise healthy.
Yep.
No high blood pressure, no diabetes, no health issues at all, other than allergies. Have allergies, but that's, Mm-hmm. So the nurse called me and was like, "Oh, the doctor wants you to come in today." I'm like, "Today? Can you come in today?" I'm like, "Okay." So went in, and the doctor's like, "Well, we found a mass on your upper right lung." I've never dealt with anybody that had cancer before. So even hearing a mass.
You're like, what? What are you talking about?
It didn't mean anything to me, because I didn't know what that meant. And he's like, "Yeah, it looks like it could be cancer." I'm like, "What? Like lung cancer? I've never smoked a day in my life. Like, what in the world?" So that was bananas. That was crazy. And it was stage 3A. I didn't even know I was sick.
And this is right kind of middle of COVID, yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So you didn't feel sick?
I had a cough, but I have allergies.
So you blamed it on the allergies. You know what's crazy?
I went to the doctors too, and the doctor said allergies too.
Got it. I mean, here's the blessing. People, whatever you believe about cosmetic surgery saved your life.
Saved my doggone life.
Because you wouldn't have gone in.
Wouldn't have gone in.
You wouldn't have got that checkup. And, want to tighten up a couple things, made you go, okay. And you checked it out and you found lung cancer.
Lung cancer.
So this began, we talked through this whole journey, you and I. This began.
Matter of fact, because I had just seen
fight
you,
for your life.
Yeah. I just seen you not too long before I found out.
Yeah.
Right.
Part of one of our masterminds or events or something. Yeah, I remember finding out, and you sharing it with me. So what's going on in your mind? And because it has to be a very confusing thing when this shows up out of the blue, what's going on in your mind? Your business is huge and cranking. And first of all, what did the doctor say about your chances?
I didn't listen to them.
I know, but what did they say?
I don't know, Erik, because whatever he was saying, it was like how Charlie Brown. I wasn't listening to that, because I'm like, it doesn't apply to me. So whatever you're saying, I don't care what they were saying.
So you just you tuned the doctor out?
Tuned him out. As far as
your chances.
It's my chances. Yeah, I cannot tell you what they said, but the whole experience is so overwhelming. It's hard to remember a lot of the things that they say anyway.
Sure.
So my sister, she came to my appointments, whether they were virtual or in person with me,
just to make sure she got
so much. It's so much, so much different. So much.
So what was going on in your mind? Okay, this is real. I need to deal with it. Did the fighter in you show up?
So the day I found out, I called, so my sister and my nephew, two people that I'm closest to, called them and told them. And everybody's like, shook. Like, what in the world? Like, what in the world? So, I had my little cry. And then the next morning, I texted them both and I said, I don't believe that God gave me cancer. So,
Right.
when I say this, I'm not saying like God gave me cancer, but I believe that God gives his greatest battles to his strongest soldiers. And that's what I told them. I'm like, and I'm one of his strong soldiers, and we are going to beat this. It's because it wasn't just me. I had to have the people around me fighting with me too,
So you let them know, I need you in this fight.
Need you in this fight. Need you in the fight, And I didn't tell everybody right away because I had to get used to these appointments. I had to just wrap my head around.
The word is weird.
The word is weird. Right. The word, is like a death sentence. People hear it, they're like, oh my God, you're going to die, So I had to teach them how to talk to me too. I'm like, listen.
You know what's funny? I have this intuition that I've always had that when somebody has a diagnosis and I immediately have a feeling like it's going to be fine or it's not. Okay. And when you told me, it was immediate inside of me. It's like, no, she's going to be fine. Well, I mean, it's not even a thank you. It's just like, okay, she's going to be fine. For whatever reason. I don't know, I've got some different friends that I don't have that same feeling with, and I'm praying that I'm wrong, but, so anyway, that went through my mind when you heard about it, and you kind of like, okay, we're going to fight. Did you go traditional path, non-traditional? Was it a combination of things? What was
Probably a little of a combination. When I first found out, I took my son to a holistic doctor when he was a baby, because they tried to say that he had asthma, and I'm like, like I took him to a holistic doctor, got that straight. He played basketball, baseball, football, golf, like you name it. He played every sport, no problem. But I went I flew to Baltimore. Didn't tell anybody. My nephew knew what was going on. My nephew wasn't even living in Baltimore at this time. He was still in New York. But I flew there and I went to see a holistic doctor. And crazy. He gave me the full diagnosis. He had no idea what was going on, but with the testing that he did, he was able to tell me exactly what it was, what caused it, what kind of cell. I mean, just all the things, right? And he recommended.
What did he say caused it?
I had an irregular cell mutation, so it was the way that my cells mutated. That caused it, which is bananas.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so you use a combo of holistic and traditional treatment.
I started out holistic.
Yeah.
And then he told me, if you are going to go the traditional route, we got to change some of the herbs that I recommend that you're taking, because they, certain things don't work with chemo. So I did that, and then when I started chemo, I stopped.
Yeah.
When I was taken from him, and then I just totally went.
What was the chemo experience like?
Oh my God. It was horrible.
Really?
One of the worst things that I've experienced.
How long was it?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, because I did one round, and then I did a second round of chemo. And my second round of chemo was 12 months.
And when were you, the good news is you came out the other side of this. So when were you given
December 31st of 2022.
December 31st?
No. December 13th is when I found out that I was cancer free.
Yeah.
But I rang the bell on December 31st.
Sorry. So 2 years of going through this process, and you close the year strong. Everything's great. What I want to know, how did you manage your team, and what happened with the growth of your organization while you're going through this most difficult experience of your life?
So I managed my team. I had like a weekly call that I would do with them. I could stay connected. I had other leaders. I had other outside, people that weren't necessarily connected to our company come in and do trainings on my team page, because I wanted to make sure that they were constantly being fed. And I would do a call on Saturday. And I didn't talk a whole lot because it was hard for me to talk.
Sure.
like it was weird. It was almost like I was pushing my voice out,
Yep.
in the beginning. But I would get on there, say a little bit, and then I'd turn the call over to somebody else. But I managed that process. These are the things that y'all need to
stayed
talk
in
about.
touch.
These are the things, we need to go over or reinforce. And with the jewelry,
What was your fight point of inspiration for people? Did people find inspiration in the fact that you were battling the battle?
Yes.
And you were doing it anyway?
I kicked butt even while being sick.
Did you? So you're
Yes.
eliminating their excuses. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Kicking cancer's ass. What's your excuse?
Exactly. And that was in sales. You know what I'm saying? Like personal sales, nothing to do with a team.
Oh, wow.
I still posted every single day. And I found ways to, go live without actually showing my face.
Yeah.
But I mostly, made a lot of my money through posting,
Interesting. So, before diagnosis and after all clear, did your business, did it maintain?
It maintained.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big win in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll bet you if you needed to check out for one of those years, it probably would have been close to maintaining.
I believe it would have.
Yeah. It's one of the benefits that people don't understand about what network marketing professionals do. When they build an organization that is self-sustaining, duplicating, and if it has significant size and leadership within it, that it will give you that freedom if a parent needs, special care for 90 days, or you go through a health scare or something happens, it gives you that bridge. It's not forever. Nothing's forever. If you don't tend the garden long enough, weeds are coming.
Exactly.
But it'll buy you time.
Exactly.
To be able to focus on your health, focus on your spiritual, journey through that process, focus on your strength.
Mm-hmm.
Because, we connected several times during the fight, and, you could tell you were tired, but you were determined. It's going to happen.
Right. My cancer picked the wrong chick. I'm like, I'm going to beat this.
Yeah.
Beat it.
So, well, congratulations on all that.
Thank you.
For whoever needs to hear that, that message and all the aspects of it, I'm glad you're able to share it. You talked a little bit about posting. When you first started with your company, was social media a driver in sales, or was it face-to-face?
I did a lot of face-to-face, but it really was a driver, but I was resistant.
Yeah, because you were used to face-to-face.
I was used to face-to-face.
How long did it take you to finally say, well, I guess this is working. I'm gonna use social media in order to be able to create more sales?
Probably really sometime during my first year in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, oh, I don't want to post that. I don't want to get on people's nerves. I don't want to, they're going to see it and they're not going to want to look at it, and then I don't know what shifted that made me start posting.
Yeah.
And when I started posting, I was like, wait a minute, I posted this.
That's
and
like cheating. Really it's free money.
Like, wait a minute. The people that don't want to see it are just going to have to be mad. Yeah. They can just not look.
It'll work.
I'm going to post, right?
It's like your sister saying, hey, I'm going to join this thing.
Right.
This makes too much sense.
Right.
How much today would you guess? How much of the sales today are the result on team-wide or company-wide are a result of social media posting versus face-to-face?
90, 95.
Yeah.
Yeah. A good percentage.
A good percentage. Power of social.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you a different question. How much opportunity do you think is lost by people not willing to get face-to-face?
100%.
They're losing a lot.
100%.
So I think if people approach social as a and instead of an or, I'm going to do face-to-face plus social versus I'm only going to do social. I think by doing face-to-face, you develop new muscles, you develop new skills, you develop a whole bunch of things that make you stronger and a better leader.
Right.
But one of the interesting things that came out of the pandemic is, you consider yourself a strong person?
I do.
Yeah. What made you strong?
Trials and tribulations.
Yeah. Getting punched in the face.
Right. Getting punched in the face.
That's what makes you strong.
And getting up.
And what was interesting about the pandemic is, and this is going to sound like, I'm the old guy talking about how, the young kids have it easy and, we had it tough growing up or whatever. But when I was involved, it was a lot of face-to-face. There was no online, when I was first involved, there was no online. You had to figure out a way to get proximity connection with people, learn how to do presentations, learn how to do trainings, learn how to do all the different fundamental skills, which made you strong. And it was the trials and tribulations that happened during that learning that made you tough.
Sure.
That miserable, negative person sitting in the front row of a presentation, glaring at you while you're trying to be positive for the rest of the room. That's the kind of stuff that makes you tough. So, I would say prior to the pandemic, people had a reasonable blend of doing the action and then clicking buttons and doing the action and clicking buttons. And pandemic went, oh, no more doing the action. We're just going to click buttons. Mm-hmm. We're going to use all the social, all this stuff. And as a result, people got really weak over the course of the pandemic. And coming out of the pandemic, you ask them to do something, if they face any adversity at all, they burst into tears, they didn't get punched in the face. The wind blew in their face and they start crying. Right. It's like, what is going on? You got to toughen up.
Crazy.
And because of a lack of skill development during those years, they were just plugging into the superstar's Zoom, or they're plugging into this, or they're plugging into that, or they're following instructions and they're clicking buttons. And because of them didn't really develop any muscle, now they're the weaklings sitting on the beach getting sand kicked in their face, and they're wondering why they're not having the success that they want to have. So it's a very interesting time. I mean, did you see that inside of your group as far as, weakness that creeped in during the pandemic?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. And I think as leaders did more,
leaders did everything for everybody.
They did everything for everybody. Yep.
Yeah. And now after pandemic, they want them to keep doing everything for everybody.
Right. Exactly. But you don't want us to give us your check for doing it.
Yeah.
But you want to, the leaders to do everything. But yeah, I think that
there's a bunch of entitlement and kind of codependency created. And, I don't want to say it, but kind of like some spoiled brats in the group that were throw temper tantrums. If you didn't do everything for them, you ask them to do one thing and they go crazy, or they lose their mind, or egos flared up and all kinds of stuff. They're like a bunch of 15-year-olds, thinking that they're smarter than everybody. And I'm not saying that about everybody in network marketing, of course. I'm just saying as a general, if I looked at the whole populace, they just got a little weaker because the leaders stepped up to fill the gap during the pandemic. And then everybody said, you keep doing that.
Right.
And it created a gap between the people that would have been stepping up and now aren't. It's an interesting time. Strong leaders will find a way to pivot. Strong leaders will find a way to create good systems, but it's just kind of a trend that I'm noticing. But look, your journey is inspiration. It's fun. You're in the $1 Million Hall of Fame. You've got all the fancy stuff within your organization. You're working with people that you enjoy. You're pouring into them. I'm really proud of you for your winning your battle, but also winning the battle of growing a big business. Mm-hmm. Also winning the battle of being a good mom. Also winning the battle of being a good friend. Also what I like about you is the fact that you continue to feed your mind with positive inputs, and you guarding your mind against negative in order to be stronger than ever. Give people a word of advice. If they're involved and they're maybe not as successful as they think they should be, or that they hoped they would be, or they feel like there's another level in them, what would you share with them?
Kind of a little bit of what I shared earlier. Give yourself grace and go for it with no excuses. Because if you eliminate the excuses, the sky's the limit. You know, if you eliminate the excuses and you make all the reasons why you're not doing something, the reason why you should, because typically that's the case. All the reasons why you're not doing it are the exact reasons why you should do it. And you just got to do it. I am a divorced mom, a divorced mother. I didn't have support of a spouse when I was building my business and, built $1 million business, $1 million team. And if it can happen for me, it can happen for others as well. When I first joined, really, I joined to close the gap for my son's college education. I wanted him to be able to choose the school he went to without basing it on where I could afford to send him. Well, my son graduated recently, yay, and he got a great job in his field. He's making six figures, just under six figures, And when I say just under, it is a smidge under, right? That's a blessing. He's not interested in coming into the business with me now because he has to do his thing over there first and he'll end up coming around full circle. But my whole purpose of saying that is that it happened, and if it can happen for me, it can happen for others too. But a lot of times, with parents, and I might step on some toes here, but parents expect more from their children than they're willing to give. Our kids are great scholastically. They're doing their thing in some kind of extracurricular activity or sport. So they got to go to school. They have to practice for that sport. They have to come home and do their homework. They may have a game for that sport or recital or whatever. And we expect them to do all of these things. But when we come home, we have a headache or we break our toenail or nail. And I did break my nail today too. I'm not happy about it. And we can't do all the things. We can't work our business because you can't expect more from your kid than what you're doing. And if we shift our mindset as parents, and you say, my child's not going to outwork me, you'll slay your business. And if you get your families involved, and I know that all of this is not easy. I know it's not always easy, but it's easy when you're winning. When they see you winning in the business, you get them involved in the business in some way, shape, or form. Help them to understand that because of this business, we're able to go out to eat an extra day. Because of this business, we get to take a family vacation, not once this summer, but twice this summer. And guess what? I'm going to let you pick where we're going, get them involved. You make them a part of what you're doing, then, you can win too, but just got to go for it. And like I said, outwork your kids, man. Outwork your kids that are involved in other stuff.
Yeah. That's great advice. Karla Pierce, I want to thank you for taking the time and coming over and sharing your story. I know people are going to get value for it, so I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you too. And thank you for being an excellent mentor. There are a lot of things that I learned from you. I started coming when you were doing your, what's the leadership?
Next Level Mastermind or
the one before that.
Beyond Leadership.
Beyond Leadership.
Yeah.
Started coming to Beyond Leadership and took a chance. Actually, first time I came to GoPro, I was like, I'm getting a super VIP ticket. I want to sit down there where the moneymakers are. I don't want to sit in there. I can be in the bleachers. I've been in the bleachers, right? I learned a lot of things from you, like understanding that there are ebbs and flows in business. Everything's not going to always go up, up, up. It's going to level out. It's going to take a dip. But that's business. And you need somebody that has been through it, that has walked the walk, to help guide you on those things. You're making good money, but what are you doing with your money? All of those things, I want to just say thank you. Thank you for pouring into me and for being so amazing. And thank you for inviting me here today. Love you.
I love you too. You're very welcome. So that's our conversation with Karla Pierce. I hope you got value from it. If you know somebody that needs to listen to this message, please share it with them. Also make sure you subscribe to this channel. It would really help me. Maybe give us a review. It'd help us spread the word, let people know more about the Excellence Project. I'm grateful for you. I appreciate you very much. And until next time, go out there and make your life amazing. Bye-bye for now.